Hi, welcome to Cooking with Chefs. I'm Don Williamson, and I want you to meet Chef Ricardo Santana. How you doing, Chef?
I'm doing good. Good, ready to rock and roll.
All right, we're going to talk about, like we've been talking about, snacks and meals and how to make all this healthy stuff taste good. Well, today the chef is going to bring you a Buddha bowl, par excellence. You're going to have vegetables and beans and all sorts of things. It's going to improve your cooking skills. It's going to be good for you, and it's going to taste awful good. I'm leaving. I'll be back when it's time to eat. Chef, I'll see you later.
All right. What is a Buddha bowl? Is it because I look like Buddha and my belly's big? No, it's not. You'll read different things online. You'll hear things like Buddha used to go through the villages collecting whatever people gave him, different vegetables throughout the day, and at the end of the day, he'd make whatever was given, donated, and make a bowl, a healthy Buddha bowl. You'll hear other things that it's shaped like a Buddha belly when you pile it up, and it's a Buddha bowl, so it looks like a belly. That's what it's called. Traditionally, it is vegetarian and it is eaten cold, but nowadays people are just getting a little creative with it. They're making it warm, they're adding proteins to it. They're just making it their own. What I want to encourage you on this one is to eat your vegetables. This is a vegetarian option that we're going to be doing. I'll show you some veggie cuts and how to build it. We'll go step by step, so follow me closely. I'm gonna show you two ways to make rice. One way is a stovetop, and today I'm using an induction stovetop. And the other way is an oven method, which we do in the industry, and I'll show you both ways, very simple. You start off with the ratio. The ratio for your rice is a 2-to-1. What does 2-to-1 mean? You do 2 parts water to 1 part rice. So today we have 4 cups of water boiling. That's key. You got to bring that water to a boil. And then we have 2 cups of rice. If I was going to do it on the stove top, I got my water boiling. I would put my rice in the water, stir it, put a lid on it, drop it down to a slow simmer, and let it run for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then you check it. Not stirring it, because if you stir it, it's just going to release starches and your rice will be very sticky. My favorite way to do rice, though, as we do in the industry, you get a pan big enough to hold your rice, spray it with any cooking spray. I'm using avocado cooking spray here. Pour your rice in it. Once again, same ratio, 2-to-1. And like I said, the key thing is the boiling water. Pour your boiling water in the rice. Give it a nice stir so the rice just gets evenly settled in the bottom. And I know this is going in the oven, but we are going to put plastic wrap over it and then foil. Sometimes people, when I say plastic wrap in the oven, they question it, but we do it all the time. And what that's going to do, it's going to create a steam barrier for that rice. Basically, you're creating a rice cooker in the oven. So you just make sure that folds over. Get your nice heavy duty foil. It's very important that you crimp the edges all the way around. Get a nice tight fit, because once again, you want to create that steam barrier for your rice. Pop it in the oven, 350, 30 minutes exactly. You'll have cooked rice. It's cooked evenly, so because the heat's coming all the way around, not like the stovetop where the heat's just in the bottom. To me, this is a safer, quick way, set it and forget it type of cooking rice. So first of all, we're going to start with the veggies I have is a yam. Sometimes people confuse a yam with the sweet potato. Sweet potato, they're very similar. Yam gives you better color, better presentation. So we're going to use that. Red onion, some carrots, and some broccoli. So how do you peel this? How do you cut this sweet potato? It's a little intimidating, but I'll show you some tricks to make it a little comfortable for you. First of all, you just cut the ends off with the sharp knife. Remember, keep those fingers in, keep that claw going. When I'm prepping, I like to keep what I call a trash bowl. That's what this is, just so you're not going back and forth to the trash can. You just got a trash bowl here. It keeps your area clean. You're just making a one step and going to the trash can. We can peel right into it. So I'm gonna peel this, this yam. And I did rinse it off. It's been washed, although we are peeling the peeling off, but it has been washed. You want to wash all your vegetables. So I'm gonna show you some tricks. So right now, you got a peeled yam. It's a little round, it rolls around. If you just cut into it, it's gonna fight you with that roundness. So what you wanna do is just hold it tightly, take one end off. Now it's not rolling anymore. See, it's nice and flat. That'll keep it from rolling around on you. So that's the first step you wanna do, is keep it from being round. And then after that, depending on the size that you want your cuts, that's how you're gonna regulate your next cut. You start down, go down, and if you're more comfortable, you keep turning it as you cut. Eventually you get more of a cube than a round piece of a vegetable. But you keep that same thickness that you want, the final thickness that you want, which is, we're going for about a 1/2 inch on this particular recipe. So now you get it to this point where you have everything pretty much cut, same thickness. Now you want to go the second cut, keeping your 1/2 inch cubes. I'll put a few up front there so you can see. This is a pretty hard vegetable, so you don't want to go too thick. It will take too long to cook evenly with the rest of your vegetables. So one thing you want to keep in mind when you are doing something like this and you're going to roast them all together, you want to keep all your vegetables somewhat the same size, because if you don't, some will cook faster than others. Another thing take in consideration is if it's a hard vegetable like this compared to the broccoli, it's a little bit harder, so it's going to take longer. So keep that in mind as you're choosing your cuts, and watch out for flying yams. Okay, next up is going to be the red onion. And once again, we have a round vegetable. So intimidating, it could roll around on you. I'll show you a trick on cutting onions. Take the tips, both ends off. Both ends off, and then once again, you want to get a flat surface on this. Cut it in half. And this will help you take that outside layer off. You know, like Shrek, onions have layers. So you get the outside layer off, and you get a nice clean onion there. That's cleaned, ready to go. In my industry, you do catering, so sometimes you have to do cases of it. So you want to do all this part first for the whole case, and then move on. You look for the trunk where it comes together here. That's called the trunk there, where the root was, where the stalk was. And you push that away from you, and you're gonna cut, depending on what size you want the onion, this is where you get to regulate it. Because like I said, the slices this way are already done there naturally. So if I want a fine diced onion, I'm gonna cut real close to each other, depending on the size. If I want a 1/4 inch, I'll do 1/4 inch. But the important thing is not to cut straight down. You're gonna cut, but as you cut, you turn your knife to follow that contour of the onion. In this case, I said we want a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna go a 1/2 inch, every 1/2 inch. Notice I'm not going all the way through to the onion, so that stalk there will hold it together for me. So I've got cuts 1/2 inch all the way through, and that natural cut's there. So now a 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and it's all diced up for you. You don't have to chop it around, follow it around on your cutting board. So that's the trick of doing an onion, so it doesn't fight you. It's already diced, it's already ready to go. If you want a real fine dice, you would do, like I said, an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever size you want. Thing you're gonna notice about a carrot, once again, you got a round object. So same method. Take your ends off. Pay attention to your recipe. On your recipe, it does say 1 large carrot, but I'm using 2 medium carrots here. They've been rinsed off, even though we are peeling the outside layer. And like the the yam, like the yam, the carrot is a hard vegetable. So because of that, we're gonna cut it not as thick as the rest. So once again, we wanna take that round edge off. What I do is take one end off. That gives you a flat surface. Same thing to this one. Gives you a flat surface. Now it's not gonna roll around on you. And we're going for a slice on this. Since it is a harder vegetable, it's okay to go with a slice. And since you already have your flat surface, you can do what they call a bias cut at an angle. And it's okay to go a little bit thinner on this since you want it to cook evenly with the other vegetables. Last item, it's a broccoli. Now the vegetables I've chosen here, they got color, you got your orange, you got your red, you got your green, but feel free to, if you don't like broccoli, if you don't like certain vegetables, feel free to choose vegetables that you like. Just keep in consideration if they're soft vegetables like zucchini or like a eggplant, you can cut those and cook those on a separate pan because they'll cook faster than these hard vegetables. That's the only thing you got to keep in consideration, but we encourage you to try different vegetables. Whatever veggies you like, try them. Whatever ones you don't, put them aside. So with this broccoli here, I just start at the bottom base and cut my granddaughter calls them little trees, cut the little trees off. And you just basically want to take the core out. Once again, you want to cut even sizes. Try to keep everything evenly proportioned so you get a better even cook. So broccoli's done. Into your bowl. So now I got all my veggies here. See the nice colors? Toss them up. I got 1 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. Sorry, that's a half teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of salt, kosher salt, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Get a spoon, or if you're good, you can just toss them in the air. Try not to get it on the floor. What you want to do here is evenly coat all your veggies. You can also just put them on the sheet pan and drizzle them with olive oil and then sprinkle them with salt and pepper, but I like doing it this way. That way you get a nice even coat on all your veggies and you distribute the salt and the pepper to get a nice even flavor. Now we're using parchment paper. Parchment paper you can use instead of foil. Parchment, once again, it's not wax paper. It's made with a little bit of silicone to it to where it won't stick to your pan and it'll keep your veggies from sticking to your pan, and it's easy for cleanup as well. Once you're done, you pull it out of the oven, take your veggies off, and all the caramelization, or if you're doing proteins or meats, it sticks to the parchment paper, but not to the pan. So makes it safe, makes it easy cleanup. So at this point, you just want to sprinkle your veggies onto your parchment lined sheet pan. Spread them out. And this is important. You want a nice even layer, so once again, they cook evenly. They're going to get a nice roast on them. You want to have your oven preheated at 425. So what you want to do before you even get started, get that oven on. So by this time, your oven's ready to go. You're ready to pop these in, and you put them in. I like to put them on the bottom shelf of the oven where there's a little bit more heat there to get a nice roast. So we're going to pop these in the oven, and I'll let you see what they look like once they're done. Okay, while the vegetables are in the oven, get nice and roasted. Next step we're going to do is saute some spinach. I got 4 cups of spinach here. A little bit of olive oil. Nice pan getting nice and hot. And keep in mind when you are doing spinach, sometimes it looks like a lot, but this, you're going to see, it's going to shrink down quite a bit. This is baby spinach. It's been washed. You can buy pre-washed spinach, or if you buy the spinach that's not washed, make sure you wash it and you rinse it down really well, because it will have a lot of dirt within it. So sprinkle with a little bit of kosher salt, just for flavor. And like I mentioned before, some of these Buddha bowls, they're hot, but the one we're doing, it's cold. So that's why we're doing it in steps. And then we'll do each step and let things cool down, and at the end, we'll bring it all together. I'll show you how to build it. And that's pretty much it. Down to less than half of its size. Like I mentioned, it does shrink. See how much is left? Just a little bit. At this point, we're gonna let this cool down, and I'll keep it on the side so when we build it, we'll get back to it. Okay, the next layer we're gonna do is a crispy chickpeas. Get your oven on at 400 degrees, preheated. Chickpeas, these have been drained and rinsed. Basically, a chickpea is a garbanzo bean. You'll hear it called either way. Don't get them confused. Once again, these have been rinsed. The key to getting a nice crispy one is making sure that they're dry. So that's why I'm just kind of dabbing them with the paper towel a little bit. Toss them up and dry. If you can, just put them out on a towel and then dry them off. So once they're dry, toss them into your mixing bowl. As you see here, you read the recipe, and if you can, get your mise en place together ahead of time so you're not worried about measuring as you're building. I have everything pre-measured, so read your measurements. Read it twice and then cook once instead of the other way around. So I got olive oil, 1 tablespoon olive oil, cumin, chili powder, and cayenne. Keep in mind, cayenne is very, that's got your heat more than the chili powder. Salt, it's all measured, but you can do it to taste. Once again, like the veggies, you want to toss it in a bowl. Garbanzo beans, because if you don't get that even coat, you might take a bite and get a bite of strictly cayenne, and that would not be pleasant. Once again, parchment lined paper, very important for multiple reasons. Just like your veggies, you want a nice, even, flat layer. And as you see, this pan is good size. You can easily do 2 cans. This is a 15-ounce can based on your recipe as far as for what we're doing today. But this is ready to go in the oven. Pop it in the oven. You'll get a nice roasted, crunchy, nutty flavor to it, and it'll add texture to your bowl. You'll notice it once we put it all together. You're gonna get texture, you're gonna get flavor. It's gonna be nice. Okay, this is getting close to the end here. We're gonna do a finishing sauce for this. That'll give it flavor. It'll bind the things together. And once again, when we finish it, I'll show you how it's done. Here what we have is, I have a clove of garlic already chopped up. And just so you guys know, the cloves are like this. These are cloves, and the cluster is the whole thing, just in case you read it in recipes. Clove and cluster is 2 different things, so don't put a whole cluster if it says 1 clove. 4 tablespoons of peanut butter. I'm using a chunky peanut butter because I like that texture. And then some lime juice. I believe it's a 1/4 cup in your recipe. I gauge that at about 2 limes. So real quick, I'll show you how to do half of this. This lime squeezer will strain the seeds out, as you see there. Okay, and if you don't have a fancy squeezer like this, another way you can do it is just squeeze it by hand, get a fork, and as you squeeze it, you tenderize it, and you just do it by hand. Okay, next I got some soy sauce. Low sodium, keeps your sodium down, salt levels down. 2 tablespoons of honey. And the last, you have your 2 oils. I have olive oil and I have a toasted sesame oil here. And what you want to do is you want to break down that peanut butter first into your soy sauce and your lime juice. You're whisking it and adding your oils at the same time. It just blends the acid from your lime juice and your oil so they don't separate. As you keep stirring, just add it little by little. And there you have it, your nice peanut sauce. If you want to add a little bit of heat, you can hit it with some cayenne, some crushed red peppers. It's up to you. I like a little bit of Tabasco in mine, but you can add different layers. Just this is a basic recipe to give you something to start with and take it from there. Down to my favorite part. This is where I love to just bring it together. I hope you guys are hungry just by watching the different layers come together. We have our done nice fluffy rice here. Okay, I have 2 different bowls. We can go with the clear bowl. This way you can see the layers for presentation purposes. or the white bowl will really bring out the colors of your veggies, depending on whatever you guys want to do. If you're having a nice dinner, you want to do this, or whatever you want to do as far as the impression and the presentation. So let's start off by scooping a nice full-size scoop of rice in each bowl. Once again, you can have quinoa, you can have a brown rice, you can have farro. There's so many different grains out there you can do this with. So next layer, we'll put a little bit of that sauteed spinach on there. And each one of these individual components on its own might not be very tasty, but when you put it all together and you get the layers of it on this bowl experience, it's just really, really nice. Choose your veggies, whatever veggies you like, and you want the vegetables to be the core. You want to be real hearty on your vegetables, because that's what we're trying to do. Encourage you is play around with the vegetables, experience some vegetables you've never tried before. Look for colors, color contrasting. A nice red bell pepper would look good in here, would really make it pop. Crunch factor is our crispy chickpeas. You can just do, if you don't like chickpeas or garbanzos, you can do toasted peanuts. You can do some crispy onions. And for garnishing, I got, you can do different options. I have a little bit of toasted sesames here. Once again, it gives it a nice presentation, another layer of crunch. Some toasted peanuts, since we are using a peanut sauce. Be careful with, if you have guests that have nut allergens, you want to ask. And I went ahead and put the peanut sauce in a squeeze bottle to make it easy to apply. I think it's because I went with that chunky peanut butter, but let's do this. Once again, this will bind it all together. It'll give you flavor. Just a nice drizzle on top. A little bit of color for a garnish. You can use parsley. I got some fresh cilantro here.
Did I get here in time, Chef?
Uh-oh. My boss is back. I got to get on it.
Oh, man, that looks good.
If this don't taste right, I might be fired. So I'll have Don give it a taste test.
Well, there's pork for you. Oh, you get the pretty bowl, huh?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So you want to stir it up a little bit. Go all the way down to the bottom. Get some rice. Get the veggies. Oh, man. I think I kept my job. I don't know. I hope I did.
That's good. That's very good. I think I'm going to have some more. But before I embarrass myself and eat too much, I want to say thanks for being here. I'm Chef Don Williamson.
I'm Chef Ricardo Santana. Thank you for cooking with me.
And for being with Cooking with Chefs. And we'll see you next time. Bye.